Tay and Todd Washington Commanders podcast. This is your co-host Tay. Welcome to the Watch Football Team podcast. This is your Todd. How you feeling, man? With a Washington football team, what is it going to be?
It's going to be Commanders. I keep going back and forth. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to say that, man. I keep going back and forth. All signs based on that video point to Commanders for a bunch of reasons that I could get into, but I don't really want to. But at the same time, are they doing that on purpose? I don't know. I think it's going to be Commanders for now. I'm just going to stick with that. That's the safe bet. What do you think?
Knowing Jason, I just can't see it. I think a lot of people are reading into it, like a lot. Yeah. And I know that, and sure, because of what happened last time, I think they threw in Easter eggs this time so that people can look and misdirect people from what really the name is going to be. However, it's hard to say that because I mean, these guys and people on Twitter are doing a heck of a job of finding things, but you have to think, why would they want the name to come out so soon? Why would they want people to guess? And I don't know. I think it's personally, I don't want to say that red wolves or wolf variation is out of the picture. I think they did that, but can you lie? I mean, in that sense.
I mean, that's the ultimate form of misdirection, which is what Jason Wright said they would be doing is, you know, having to use misdirection. Well, we can't use that. Okay. I mean, like I want to just believe it. I feel like it's probably true, but at the same time, if you knew for months, why didn't you rule it out months ago like you did Warriors? You know, You ruled out Warriors months ago. If you knew that Wolves and Red Wolves were not options months ago, why didn't you just rule those out too? Why'd you wait until now to rule them out? And then there's some other things I can't really, get into, but I'm choosing to just believe it as the truth because that is the name that we prefer, and rather than saying no, I still think that there's a chance, and then day coming and it really is what it appears to be, and being disappointed, I'm just choosing to just say he's being serious about that. It's going to be Commanders, but I'll just say I won't be surprised if they announce the name and it is one of those, and they're saying, haha, we got you. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised, Tay. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, and then on top of that, is there any significance of 2-2-22?
Not that I know of. Someone was talking about groundhogs and a groundhog's trademark. Not that I know of. Is there something I should know?
I don't know. I mean, people are doing a lot of digging. So.
Yeah, that one I can't get. I can dissect the video. I'm not gonna. People start when you start going off of stuff like that, then it's like, okay, you could go anywhere. You could go to the second book in the Bible, the second chapter, verse number 22, and see what's there. So, not that I know of. I guess we'll find out. It is the Super Bowl is that following. No, the Pro Bowl is that following Sunday. So it's before the Pro Bowl. It's earlier than I expected, though. I am excited about that.
Way earlier.
I was thinking after the Super Bowl. I was thinking later February. I mean, it's less than a month away, and we're gonna be marching for the Commanders. So it's that what you said that you were gonna embrace it privately. That's what you said. So you've come around to it. Have you come around to it, or are you just saying you're gonna embrace it?
I'm just. I mean, I haven't necessarily come around to it, but my biggest thing isn't the name. My biggest thing is the franchise quarterback. So, I mean,
for sure.
I mean, so I don't care if it's the Hoggies or whatever. if you got a quarterback behind there that's going to sling it and just the man, I'll get behind any name. So my biggest thing is I'm ready to get some gear. I'm just ready for the whole name process to be over with.
Right.
And obviously, Commanders isn't my first choice, but I love the jersey designs so far from what I've seen.
Right. Yeah.
And it looks like the guys on the team are ready to embrace it as well, from Jonathan Allen's posts. And it's going to be a good journey, and I'm excited to go through it with the fan base. And whether we like the name or not prefer it or whatever it may be, I think this is an exciting time. And I just can't wait. I can't wait. Whether it's Commanders, whether it's Red Tails, whether it's Wolves. I mean, Commanders is definitely kind of weird. You know,
yeah, I still don't know what it is, and there's no nickname for it other than comms, and that doesn't sound right. The only thing I could think of is DC means the District of Commanders, and you say, "Hey, we're the DCs." I'm a DC.
See,
stupid. But so for me, I mean, obviously it's the same. Like, the name thing will happen. Probably just say how I feel if I don't like it, and then from there just move on. Not gonna complain for too long, at least. And then, like you said, so far from the glimpses, it seems like the new jerseys will be. I mean, Martin Mayhew said fire, right? Jason Wright said that the new jerseys look like they're gonna be cool and updated, which has been needed for a while. The helmet, it appears that there will be a black helmet. Now, there's a couple things I'm confused about because there's a clip showing a helmet with the yellow and white stripe. Then there's another clip showing a helmet with the just yellow stripe. Then you've got the black helmet. And so I don't know. If I'm not mistaken, the NFL changed the rule and said that you can have 2 helmets now, as opposed to just 1. I believe you can now have 2, but only 2. I'm hoping that's what that black helmet was. And it wasn't. Did you look at that part in that picture, the black helmet?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was black. It wasn't deep burgundy.
Unless it was the deep burgundy, but
But like the face mask and the helmet are the same color, and the face mask is clearly black. So, and then there was some logo type of thing on there you couldn't see. So it appears that there's a black helmet. There's black lining on the words of the jersey. So they're incorporating black, which some people don't like, but I absolutely love. I love that.
Oh man.
So I tweeted out, and what I think ultimately will happen, assuming that, you know, again, Wolves and Red Wolves are actually out, which is believable, that the branding and the logo and the jerseys and just the whole branding package as a whole, and all the new not material, the new merchandise, people are gonna like that. That will generally be well liked and be seen as cool and everything, and then people are gonna just feel about the name or dislike. That's what I think will happen. And people say, we love the new jerseys, we love the updates, all that's great, logo's cool, the name, but okay. I think that's probably what will happen, and I think that that's acceptable, because I think it was tough. Really, the only name that did exist that would have received a strong reaction, the name itself from the fan base, was Up the Wolves or Red Wolves Alley, something to do with wolves. It's unfortunate, though, that we fell in love with the name that is, I guess, so popular already. We'll find out today. I'm not ruling it out 100%. I'm not.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to judge, because it's like, you know, people are going to try and do that.
Yeah.
So you have to throw out loopholes, because
you have to.
From the initial conversation we had, there was a possibility of 3 names being
Wolves
released.
Oh well, yeah.
During the show, we didn't get that. So
no, that's right. Yeah, based on the conversation we had with Jason. Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, it's kind of weird. It's a weird situation where it's like, okay, you're down 3 names: Wolves, Commanders, and Red Tails, right?
Yeah.
And I just think they barely breeze. Why would you have people howling in a stadium and never release it?
That there's only 2 explanations. 1, it's the name and they've been saving it, or 2, they realize that they can't use it. But would they have gotten that far in without, like, wouldn't they have known at that point that they couldn't use that name?
Right.
Why are you gonna have anybody howling for a video?
Yeah.
And you don't know if, I mean, I feel like it wouldn't take long. They started this process in, I don't know, late 2020, right?
Right.
First thing you do, I mean, the Wolves Red Wolves thing was early on. It was there, so it wouldn't take too long to figure out that there's too many hurdles with that, right? Minnesota Timberwolves, the Arkansas State Red Wolves, whatever it may be. So I agree. Yeah. Why would you have people howling and never? Why would you? And then that's the other question. Why would you never use it? Why wouldn't you put it in the video? Even if it's not wolves, why wouldn't you put it in the video? Why'd you just cut it out completely? I don't know, man. It's okay. Here's my other thing. Okay, so when they released the video, and then you saw the logo.
And maybe the jerseys, because maybe the jerseys, apparently they have different mock-ups of different jerseys they had.
Yeah, right.
And it's quite possible that could have been a jersey of the Commanders of what you saw, and a jersey of the Red Tails of what you saw.
Yeah.
Missing them or anything.
Like because I mean, you got to have mock-ups of all the stuff to see it in person, right? Like just one or two. So, I mean, yeah, that's possible. On the logo, which appears to be a W that has a Commanders, it's a Commanders W. I know that you can see in the reflection. Okay, it took people all of 5 seconds to notice that.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't think the people who recorded it would have noticed that, and then if it needed to not be there, easily just edit it and so that it can't be seen? And then on the YouTube video, you can't see anything, but on the Twitter post, the blur at the bottom kind of goes away, and then you can see it again. And so again, there's no way you're doing that on accident, right? There is no way that if you want something blurred out, they can blur it out. They have the people with the skills to do that, and they have the teams of people to notice it. So either they want people to see that logo, because that is the logo.
And then the picture on the wall of the glass mirror behind Ron.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Okay.
Like they would have, the people who recorded that and produced that, like you're noticing that. And if that's not supposed to happen, then they will edit it.
Exactly.
So they had to have wanted people to see that. But why would you want people? You wouldn't at this stage, when you've decided you don't want people to see the logo and know it, because it doesn't matter now. Like the critical reception, you can't change it now. You gain nothing. I mean, I guess maybe, yeah, sure, you know what, but the response will be, but you can't change it now. So you don't really do that. You would do that to mislead people, in my opinion. But at the same time, I don't feel confident enough to say that is for sure what happened. But it's just stuff we'll be thinking about for the next 29 days.
Yeah.
I also reached out asking how the name will be announced on the 2nd. If it will be a live stream event, if it will be any sort of in-person element to it, if it would be a video release pre-recorded, and they said they can't give me more information. So I feel like maybe it'll be a live stream event though.
Has to be.
Right. Also, do you think it'd be morning or evening?
That's a good question. I'll be in Mexico, so I'm hoping I have the Wi-Fi to watch all this stuff. So.
Oh man, yeah, that's something
I hope
to pray
it's morning. What is that? The 2nd is a Monday?
Wednesday.
I can see noonish, and I see Terry and Chase probably rehabbing, but Allen and get those guys out there, and I would like to see them walk out with it. And
you kind of have to be a big event. Like I feel like there will probably be media in person, maybe.
Oh yeah,
and then
it's a big event. I mean,
it's huge. So that's my question. When do we find out that stuff? Like, there's still more to find out. I don't know, but Jason Wright is a smart guy. And then, like you said, Tay, the way that people were dissecting that last video gave them a glimpse into how truly crazy this fan base and how people are. So at that point, wouldn't you intentionally do things?
I think that may have tipped them, the last video. Yeah. And made them say, okay, well, since they're going this way, we know what they're going to get. Let's go ahead and put some stuff out in there that they may jump at. And that's it.
Yeah, that would make sense, because at this point, it is like 100% Commanders.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
So the only other options are that it's something completely out of left field, which wouldn't really make sense. So just to be clear again, that list of 8 was not a finalist list. It was just 8 names. Tanya Snyder said that it was, but Jason Wright came out and said, no, it's not. It's just 8 names that we said. It does not represent the finalists. The 3 finalists, based on everything we know from the previous video, from this video, from things we know from people who have been more closely involved in capacities, is Commanders, Red Tails, and Wolves. You saw all the mock-ups, all the logos for Red Tails and Wolves in the video today. Things we had seen before, Tay. Commanders was the one you didn't see, but you saw little Easter eggs, as you're saying, Tay. And so that's what makes you think that it's Commanders, because it's the only one that wasn't shown. But at the same time, now everyone thinks it's Commanders. So is that intentional? Do they want people to think that to be prepared for what it is? Or do they want people to think that to be completely thrown off guard? And then are they just completely lying about the top three and it's something else? I don't know. We don't know.
No, that's the thing. I don't know what other name that they could choose that we haven't all thought about.
Right.
I would be. However, I would be intrigued if they did drop a name that nobody's even
thought of. Yeah, that would be crazy.
Okay.
That would be crazy. It'd be impressive. It would be very impressive. Kevin Sheehan also said it's gonna end with an S, so it's not gonna be Armada or Brigade, like something like that. Like it's gonna be like all other NFL team names. There's people are saying Legends. I mean, that's not a horrible name, but we haven't seen or heard anything pertaining to Legends. Hogs is another one people talk about. That to me would be the one that could come out of left field, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just preparing for Commanders. Go Commanders! Yay! I don't know what to do. Is this what we do?
Yeah, I guess so.
Go Coms.
Hey, you give me a franchise quarterback, I'll be out there repping that calm.
Starting Commanders quarterback, Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
I just know if it is Commanders, even if the logos and stuff and branding jerseys are nice, I'm gonna have to have some difficult conversations that I don't want to have, because everyone that I know is gonna be like, everyone who I know that knows I'm a fan, everyone's gonna see the name change because it's gonna be such big news, and they're gonna come to me and they're gonna ask me about why the name is Commanders, and I won't have an answer for them. So I have to figure out how I'm gonna want to respond to that, because I can't stand talking about anything name related with non-fans. Can't stand it, because it's always like, it's been 2 years of it now. So like at the beginning, sure, but after the first couple months, and the joking, it should be the, and then some insert some joking. It's like, okay, you think I haven't heard that before? Come on, right. I'm so tired of it. And so it comes out Commanders. What? All that time they came with Commanders? Like, dude, I don't know. Please stop talking to me about it.
Yeah, that's the worst. It's like I had a friend tell me, man, why don't y'all have a name already? And then you try to go into trademark, and they don't want to hear all that.
Exactly. Like, okay, so they couldn't have done it that fast to do it last offseason. You're not going to do it during the season. You're going to wait till after. One thing we've never done, tell you, is complain about the timeline and the process of them getting it done. It makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. One of the it's an absolutely recognizable brand. It's an NFL franchise. It's one of the oldest ones, so it makes sense to me why it took them this time. Also, it's not going to be Washington football team. It's not going to be Washington football team, because that they would get roasted for spending all this time to just stick with what they currently have.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see that, to wake up to that this morning. Obviously some unfortunate news, or so we think, in Wolves and Red Wolves being out. But again, I'm just going to accept that as the truth right now. Every couple of hours, my brain is going to go back to some things and say, but wait. But I'm just going to expect Commanders to be the name. I don't know where it came from. I don't really know how Commanders made it to the top. If it is the name, I don't know what about it is so good that like it would become the name. Mm-hmm. But whatever.
It'll be interesting.
It will be. The Washington Admirals thing is interesting. If you type in WashingtonAdmirals.com, it takes you to WashingtonFootball.com. That's weird, but
that's another.
I think that's definitely a misdirection.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then
Admirals is like the only name I'll be like, all right, like,
what are we doing? Yeah. Give me Commanders over Admirals. Like, what? Okay, yeah. Now you've lost it. You know what the nice thing about Admirals would be, though? We would go from the bottom of every list of, when you go to NFL teams by name. We'd go straight to the top, man. That would be nice. Well, depending on how they do it. Um,
Yeah.
there was something I was going to say, but I can't remember. But okay, well, we'll know here real soon. It's going to come up so fast, and I'm just, man, that's going to be pretty crazy. The thing that's good, the thing that it's not like people are going to be so upset no matter what. Even if it's Wolves and Red Wolves, you're still going to have people who are going to be upset. So it's like it's going to be a weird day because it's a big day that we're looking forward to. But in terms of response, there's going to be so much negativity out there, regardless of what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I had to mute some people today because some people were just. I understand if you're disappointed that they said Wolves and Red Wolves were out, but I don't understand being mad about it. Like
Yeah.
super,
Yeah.
super mad about it. I just can't get there. Anyway, Commanders, you want to talk about the Commanders game from Sunday?
Yeah, I guess we can hit that a little bit.
A
I guess we
little
could
bit.
talk about that. Now that's the type of loss I'll take. They fought hard.
Let's say
Um,
Commanders as much as we can.
yeah, yeah, Commanders. So the Commanders fought kind of hard, and Jared Patterson. I started him in fantasy this week,
Okay,
and
nice.
he
Championship?
did very good. Championship, yeah. I won a
Oh, okay.
championship, yeah.
Nice.
So yeah. So he did well. I was impressed with what I seen. The O line looked pretty good for the most part as far as run blocking. I think pass blocking is shaky.
Yeah,
Um, De'Ami Brown, he's starting to get a little bit more.
right.
I think I can't really judge him till I get a quarterback. I think Allen.
Yeah,
I think he
man.
would fit a lot better with Allen at quarterback. Honestly,
Yeah, probably. I have some thoughts on Demi Brown watching back some Sam Howell, but I think he really does have potential. I don't think he's an AGG.
no, no,
I just think
no.
the quarterback system this year setup was just not conducive to him having success. But you can go ahead.
Yeah, and like I'll just breeze over the offense. And another thing I want to go over a little bit of what Ron said in his conference after we go over the game because I think it was very telling, and
Mm-hmm.
it fits right in with where he believes the rebuild is. But offensively, they moved the ball in the first. I mean, they moved the ball with all the injuries and everything they've had. Like I said, Scott Turner is a beast, and I mean he's doing the best with what he has.
Right.
De'Ami Brown looked good. Terry's Terry. Um, John Bates, man.
Yeah,
I
that's
think it's
something.
I think it's something for real, man. I
Yeah.
think with Logan probably missing all of OTAs and maybe some into training camp
Right,
next
because he
year.
did tear his ACL.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bates takes over that
Yeah.
and with a full OTA and a new quarterback there, and he could build a rapport with him.
Mm-hmm.
I like Bates. I like
Yeah.
Bates a lot. He's continued to grow on me, and yeah, that's what I have for the offense and defensively. Um, D line was just blah. You see Payne getting upset,
Yeah.
with just you know it, David Mayo at Mike linebacker.
He looked better
Uh,
than Jamin Davis.
oh my goodness, they look good with him at Mike.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if what they're gonna do next year. I think
Right.
the number one priority is the quarterback on both sides of the ball. Quarterback
Right.
defensively,
Right.
Mike linebacker, quarterback offensively. So
Right.
that's what I saw. And secondary looked pretty good from what I could tell. I
Yeah.
just don't know how you can't contain Hurts. We can never contain a quarterback. Like I just
I
don't get it.
know. I know.
I just don't get it.
It's been like multiple coaching staffs, completely different rosters, but still just a complete inability to contain mobile quarterbacks. We went on the Trapper Dive, with Maul and Dre and AJ and those guys, and they asked both of us if the culture, based off that Cowboys blowout loss, if the culture was like took a hit. And my response was, well, I need to see them play this next game really before I can answer. Because to me, you're going to take losses, you're going to take bad losses, and I'm not excusing a 56-14 loss, but some teams may take a loss that bad against their division rival, especially
Hmm.
when you're not healthy and they're extremely healthy. Uh, for me, it's not about the loss as much as it's about how you respond. Since we're looking at kind of the long term, and I mean, they responded to me. They didn't win. They didn't win to me for the same reason they've lost most of their games this year because they simply are not talented enough. But they
Right.
battled. They battled back. I mean, offensively, scored 16 in the first half, couldn't score in the second half. Defensively, you only gave up 20 points. And last 2 weeks ago, you were getting run over left and right. And in the first half, you gave up, 40 some rushing yards. Overall, you didn't let them gash you the way they did last time. I mean, that's an improvement to me. They battled. They wanted it. Taylor Heineke had them at the 20-yard line with a little bit of time left. Ron Rivera said that there should have been a pass interference on that interception. And look, based on the way the week played out, it is better for Washington, in my opinion, that they didn't win because they would have been eliminated from the playoffs either way. But they fought, they battled, and they are just simply not a good enough team right now. I mean, let's be honest, Tay, because I'm not, Taylor Heineke has been probably what we should have expected him to be. He's been up and down. He wasn't bad on Sunday. The pick was the worst play for him, right? Jarrett Patterson was fitting through some holes that most running backs can't fit through. So I hope that he starts again this week and that he just gets a full workload. Like you said, De'Ami Brown. I think we kind of got a good picture of Keith Ishmael and what he probably is, which is probably a backup player. Backup level player, not even necessarily backup, probably where he is, third, fourth string, right? Defensively, I like that they improved. Without William Jackson, you had Danny Johnson out there, and they weren't getting explosive plays down the field. I thought Cole Holcomb played well, except for that one play when Hurts rolled out and Holcomb lost his man in coverage. And then they forced 2 4th and goals, right, within the 1 yard line, and we're just unable to hold it in that 4th down situation. Imagine they hold both of those, probably win that game, right, even if you don't do anything on offense. So overall, I like the fact that they battled back after taking that loss. That loss to the Cowboys, for some reason, doesn't feel as bad as these other losses that they've taken, like the Monday Night Massacre, like that loss to the Giants with the swinging gate and all that stuff. And I think that speaks to the culture and the faith that people still have in Ron Rivera. You lost 56-14 to the Cowboys 2 weeks ago, or less than 2 weeks ago, and we're not really talking about it much. In the past, I think that would have been a much bigger stain on the coach's resume. Whereas this year, it happened and it was bad, but next game we're fighting back. So, yeah, I'm not giving them a moral victory, but I'm just saying they didn't come out and get blown out again. They battled, but the team is just not talented enough and too banged up. Those are the main 2 things for me. You can't overcome that, especially with quarterbacks. Their longest passing plays, 48 and 40, to wide receivers, 48 and 46 yards, came in the last 2 weeks against the Eagles, the first game, and the Cowboys, the second game. Their 2 longest pass plays to wide receivers this all season came in the last 2 weeks. The one before that was in the first Cowboys game. So 3 weeks, you hit your longest plays, 43, 46, 48 yards in weeks, 14, 15, and 16?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's still, we're not talking about 70, 80-yard touchdowns, 43, 46, 40, all in the 40s, and they came at no sooner than week 14. That, to me, speaks to the talent on offense, which is lacking explosiveness, primarily at quarterback, also somewhat at the skill position. So it wasn't a bad game. I was watching it just for enjoy. When they had a chance to win, I was saying, all right, I guess we'll just see what happens. It's really a win-win situation. But since they would have been eliminated, I'm glad they didn't win because someone made a good point. The Eagles last year tanked, right? People always talk about tanking, but no one really intentionally tanks as obviously as the Eagles did last year. That was a tank job. They got the 6th pick instead of the 10th pick. They traded back to the 12th pick and then up to the 10th pick.
10th.
Right? And then
11.
Something like that. They ended up with an extra first-round pick, basically, that they wouldn't have gotten. And then this year, they've bounced back. They are in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So the whole idea that you can lose to improve your draft position and that's meaningless and it's more important to win a meaningless game at the end of the season for the culture is just not true. All that to say, I hope they lose to the Giants on Sunday, but I think they'll win.
Yeah, I think they'll win. It's
the Commanders. I think the Commanders will beat the Giants.
Yeah, I just can't see them losing that game against the Giants.
Glennon's been terrible.
Joe Judge, Fromm starting.
Oh, Fromm is starting? I didn't even know that. Yeah, so they're definitely – the Commanders are definitely going to win.
Yeah, with the comments that Joe Judge made recently, I just see uh, them coming out and spanking the Giants.
Yeah, probably.
But I would take a loss there, and that could move us up to 6, 7, 7 possibly. But if not,
Yeah.
no worse than 9, right?
If we win,
If we lose, no worse
if
than
we
9.
lose, no worse than 9. Yep. They lose no worse than 9, but like you said, possibly 8th or 7th if they lose Washington. To me, I mean, it's not even about like quote unquote tanking. The game is meaningless. I want to see the young players play. If we had a
Mm-hmm.
younger quarterback who maybe had potential, I'd want to see him play. That Heineke or Allen doesn't really, start either one. It doesn't matter. But give me Jarrett Patterson, regardless of Gibson and Williams and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. Give me De'Ami Brown and Dax Milne. Like activate Kelvin Harmon. Give me Samus Reyes, which they've said they will, and John Bates. Like, give me all the young guys starting in this game so they can get reps, so that you can see
Mm-hmm.
them. Throw Jamin out there at whatever. I don't. If he's not going to play middle linebacker, put him at right or left outside linebacker. Put him at strong or weak. Just let him
Mm-hmm.
go play. Like, just let all the young players play. If you end up losing because the young players were playing, okay, all right, well, you like whatever. It's like a preseason game, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
just play the young players. And the advantage of that can be them getting experience, and either you win and that's positive, whatever, or you lose and that draft position will not hurt at all.
At all, at all, at all.
And it's like it's just way too early to make any declarative statements about the quarterbacks coming out. It's just way too early.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's where I stand on that.
Yeah.
Which I guess we'll talk about the Giants game later. Although there's not really much to
Let's
talk
talk. I
about.
mean, I guess we could do like players we want to see. I
Right?
guess,
Yeah, we could
and
do that.
something
Good
like that.
idea. Good idea.
Go on to Ron's comments
Yeah.
about the third, uh, the third season within the rebuild. He made the
Mm-hmm.
comments that he knew it wasn't going to be an easy turnaround, and he's following the same path that he took with Carolina,
Right.
7-9 and 6-10. I don't know which one came
6 and
first.
10 first, and then 7 and 9.
Okay, so we take a step back essentially, or we're the same if we win against the Giants.
I would say if they have the same number of wins, they took a step forward because they played one of the hardest schedules in the year
Exactly.
versus one of the easiest last year. So I agree with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Ron had made the comment of the third year's and ideally he had Cam Newton those first 2 years.
Yeah, which is
he
ideal.
had no quarterback. He had no quarterback. This, I mean,
First,
we're going through eight quarterbacks,
right.
something like that. Seems
Yes,
like
I think Haskins, Gilbert, 7. I think
7.
I think
And
so.
he made the comment of saying now going into this year, you will see a drastic change in the offseason. And he pointed out a couple things that stood out to me. He said, we're going to see who really fits and we're going to see what we need to improve on. And I want to touch on that first one of who fits. I think that D line is going to get broken up. I think the reason why they did not break up the D line this past year was because they wanted to see consistency
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to see who belonged. Obviously, Allen belonged. He's a Pro Bowl. I don't think Deron Payne improved. Matt Ioannidis, he didn't do anything much to stand out. And I think they're going to unload. I mean, Sweat didn't do much. I mean, albeit, all his situation and everything. I think you're going to see some guys on that D line maybe break up. And I really think he's going to do everything he can to improve. I mean, last year we were so close to getting Goff and Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
And so that tells me the direction. It seems to me that Ron wants a veteran quarterback. I don't
Yeah,
know
that's what
about
it
what you
seems
think about
like.
those comments, but he seems to me to say this is the biggest offseason ever. Pretty much. There's so many words.
Right. Yeah, I like Ron doesn't like say stuff just to say it. I feel like he always is saying what he means. And
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you on the defensive line stuff, because I think that this year kind of must have shown that those guys don't work together that well. Now, as to whether or not that's on them or the defensive coaching staff, I don't know. But like we said, just because you have 4 first rounders doesn't mean that they're going to play well together.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw Hill and James Smith-Williams come in, and we saw better play overall by the defense. So those are assets that you have, assets that you can't keep all of them. You've signed one, John Allen. Chase Young is the next one who would be the highest priority. So you definitely can't keep all four. You probably can't even keep three. They're assets, and it seems like they might not even be cohesive. Then by all means, make a move. Trade them.
Yep.
Don't cut them. Trade them. Get something for them. So, I mean, I'm all about that. If I'm not mistaken, let me double check. Matt Ioannidis might be a free agent after this year. No, Settle is a free agent after this year. Matt Ioannidis has one more year. Right, so Ioannidis is probably going to stick around, I would think. Tim Settle, let me see. I believe he is a free agent. But to me, if there's an issue, exactly like I said. Resign Settle. Trade Payne. If you need to trade Sweat, especially if you're trading these guys for something that has to do with the quarterback, by all means. Keep John Allen, keep Chase Young. Ioannidis is here. Resign Settle, move Payne, maybe move Sweat. I'm all for that because I think they're still working out how guys fit in and work together best, and they clearly like to try things first. Sometimes I think to a fault. Try things, know that they don't work before they move on. Landon Collins, tell you, we were on Dame's drop back with Damian Bartonic before the season saying Landon Collins shouldn't be playing any type of deep cover safety, 2, 4, any of that. That's what he was doing. He's giving up touchdowns. Said he needed to be playing up downhill towards the line. Started doing that midway through the season and had a completely different second half of the season, right? William Jackson was supposed to come, and I thought they were supposed to play more man. You know, what happened? It's just, they clearly like to try things like Troy Apke, like Dwayne Haskins, and I think last year it made more sense, but this year, like Jamin Davis at middle linebacker, but now you've got to start just putting people where you think they'd fit best and making those moves, so.
I think you can afford to do that because you're not in a win now experience, and that's why a lot of people are like, oh, Curtis Samuel this or Chase Young this or Jamin Davis this. I think the key to this year was get these guys experience. I think them having productive seasons this year would have came to a fault. I mean, obviously you want to see them productive,
right?
I think it would have been a waste. Let's put it like that, because you're not going to the playoffs. Your quarterback is not going to get you where. Now, this next year coming up, you're going to see Curtis Samuel. I'm hoping 100% healthy. You see Jamin Davis in a new role.
Yeah.
That's outside. You have a real Mike. You'll have Cosme experience. You have St. Juice another year. You have Diami another year. And it seems like you're getting a whole new draft class. Pretty much on top of what you're getting, and a free agency class for that matter. So I wouldn't discount everybody right now. I think, like I said, this year, if they would have produced, we would have been better. But at the end of the day, the end goal is to win championships. And this year, they were not winning the championship, let alone the NFC East with how good the Cowboys are. I think Ron sees what he needs. I think quarterback is number one priority. I think they're in the spot to do it this year with a top 10 pick, possibly. And some talent on defense that they can get rid of. Now, if the Houston Texans are asking, hey, I need a defensive starter, boom shakalaka, there you go.
You need two.
You need two.
Right, exactly.
You get Payne, and you give up 3 firsts because 26 superstar quarterback. I mean, you can't.
I hate when people use the argument of, well, Deshaun Watson was one of the best quarterbacks in 2019 and his team won 4 games. Come on now. Come on now. We gotta always use the right context. That was first of all their first terrible year, but they were a bad team. Okay? So if you put Deshaun Watson on a good team, they're gonna be good. If you put him on a bad team.
Did you see them go toe to toe with the Chiefs that one year?
Yeah, exactly. He is a very good quarterback. Yeah. People have forgotten how good Deshaun Watson is, but he is assuming he hasn't lost it, he is very, very good. I expect them to beat the Giants. I expect them to get to 7 wins. And honestly, if you were to say 2 years ago, Washington's going to win 7 games with Taylor Heineke starting 15 of those games, that would sound kind of crazy. They haven't really underachieved based on what they have. Now, they have underachieved based on Ron Rivera being here for 2 years, I would say, really just based on a second year of a coach, because that's how, things, you always want the quick turnarounds, which is possible. Look at the Bengals. But at the same time, based on who was starting for them at quarterback, Taylor Heineke is not a more than 7-win quarterback. Like, let's just be real about that. So that's what you got to do. And I,
also
for
the
one,
key, the key this year, third place schedule. That's
right?
gonna be
Yeah,
huge.
they went from playing one of the easiest schedules in the NFL last year to playing one of the toughest schedules in the NFL this year. So yeah, they weren't ready for that first place schedule. The Bills, the Chiefs, the Packers. I mean, the Saints. They played the Bucks, who they beat. I know they won some of those games, but last thing I'll say is, there is a part of me that thinks Ron Rivera wants a veteran. Now, we don't know ultimately if Derek Carr would be available. Like, he very well maybe could not be. Aaron Rodgers probably will be traded, but I just there he will go where he wants to go. Same thing with Russell Wilson. Same thing with Deshaun Watson. Less about Washington being Washington and more about these guys being able to pick where they want to go and there being better options, making that more likely. All that to say, if you can't get a veteran, I still believe you can draft a rookie and you don't have to be terrible. You can still make the playoffs in his first year. I mean, as a wild card or something, you don't have to wait for them to develop for several years now. If you draft the right rookie, just look at all these other guys. If you draft the right one, you can win some games in their first year. I believe that, but you just got to get the right one. But you have to get the right one, period, anyway. So like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you get the wrong one, then none of that matters. You have to get the right one. So we'll talk about that more, but that's all I've got.
Yeah, and where I'm at now is I think the right one and the most ready. I mean, like you said, you can't really tell. I think it's Pickett,
Yeah, that's what I think
and
too.
I think if you're going to go that route to draft, I think Pickett is probably the guy, and then Corral maybe.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth, but I love Kenny Pickett. I think you're right on that with Pickett. That's where that's seventh. If you can get up to the strength of schedule with the other 6-win teams, the Seahawks and
Bears.
the Bears, right? Yes, is very tight. Washington plays the 4-win Giants. If they were to lose, that would lower their strength of schedule, whereas the other teams don't play teams that bad, so it could raise it. So, like, if they lose, I don't know exactly where they'll end up, whether it will be 9, 8, or 7, but it would be nice for them not to lose draft position. If they win, they could fall to 13th, probably more like 11th or 12th. So, yeah, that's it, man. I got, we can just, like you said, talk about Friday's game next time. I mean, not Friday's game, week 18. I guess players we want to see. At the end of the day, win or lose, up or down, bad or good season, I'm going to miss watching them play, having to wait 9 months to watch them play. That's the absolute worst, regardless of their season. So I got to watch this last game just because it's the last we're going to get for 9 months, for 8 months, I guess, preseason.
Yeah, same here. So looking forward to it, man. And I guess it's been a good season, and looking forward to this last game. And hopefully Bates can explode, have a big game, or Diami, and just kind of go into the off season with a bang. So
yeah, I agree. Go Commanders, Tay. This is Todd.
This is Tay.
Go Commanders.